Turan. Look at your hand, look at the lines of your hand, pick one spot, one line. You don't need to say a thing, just look at that spot now.
This week you're going to see that lady being induced into hypnosis, and I'm going to be talking about some of the fundamental aspects of hypnotizing people. It's almost lesson number 1 when it comes to hypnosis, and yet it's my 720th video released on YouTube. Isn't that strange? Should have been the first video. But anyway, we're going to talk about 2 main fundamental aspects to consider when hypnotizing someone. So keep watching inside and find out what I mean. Hi there, my name's Turan. I'm a hypnotist and clinical hypnotherapist, and every week I show you some street hypnosis and then break some aspect of the hypnotic process down, utilising the example to give you some information about how hypnosis works. So this week, as I said up front, I'm going to be talking about 2 fundamental aspects needed when it comes to hypnosis. Before I talk about that there, let's watch this lovely street hypnosis clip. It was shot in the mall a few years ago, and it's a lovely example of a nice hypnotic induction and what we'll call the first skit performed by this lady. And it didn't go exactly as planned, neither in the induction or in the skit. But watch closely and you'll see overall the end goal is met of getting her into hypnosis. I'm going to come back after you see the street hypnosis clip and talk in a tutorial fashion about what you saw in that clip, discussing these fundamental aspects of hypnosis. So make sure you stay tuned right to the end. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget, click the subscribe button and that bell notification button next to the subscribe button so you get notified every time there's a new video coming out from myself. And it's not just for me and informing you about the next video coming out. It helps the YouTube analytics, helps my channel grow. So I really appreciate it if you can click that subscribe button. And please do leave a comment in the comment section below. I love reading your comments and giving answers to your comments. And in this week's video, I'm going to be name dropping Peter Cooper, who asked some lovely questions in several of the comments on my previous videos. One in particular was about the fractionization process, where he was talking about how I woke someone up and then dropped them back into trance. And you're going to see that in the video today. So stay tuned, and I'll be having a bit more of a chat about Peter's comments in the tutorial section. In the meantime, let's watch the video.
Do you mind with the video, by the way?
No, that's fine.
GDPR and all that. Okay, put your feet together, stand up straight, arms down by your sides. And what's your name? Anne. How do you do, Anne? Look at your hand, look at the lines of your hand, pick one spot, one line. You don't need to say a thing, just look at that spot now. And as I move that hand towards your forehead, notice how that hand starts to drift towards your forehead all by itself. The conscious part, thought in your part. That's right. Just allow that hand to drift towards your forehead. As you stare at that point, just close your eyes down now and let that hand continue to float towards your forehead now. Knowing when that hand touches your forehead, your legs will support you, your back will support you, so you've seen other people now. That's right. But you'll go down to a wonderful state of hypnosis. As that hand gets closer and closer and closer now to your forehead, your unconscious is taking you down to a place of wonderful hypnosis now. As you hear all the sounds around you, people walking past, just allow you to help you absorb you into this wonderful state of hypnosis now. When your hand touches your forehead, your head will drop down to your chest, your hand will drop down to your side, and you go way down, deeper, deeper, deeper relaxed. The deeper you go, the more relaxed you feel, the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you go, drifting, sinking down, even deeper still. That's right, so good, so deep, so wonderful. Your legs supporting you, your back supporting you all the while. I'm going to count from 10 down, and with every count I count, just allow your unconscious to take you even deeper. 10, going deeper now. 9, even deeper still. 8, so deep, so relaxed. 7, 6. By the time I get to the number 1, your unconscious will take you to a place that even I couldn't take you to. So deep, so relaxed that every suggestion I make will become your reality. 5, even deeper still. 4, so wonderful inside now. 2, way down, even deeper still. And 1, so deep, so relaxed. In a minute I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and the count of 3 you can open your eyes and go back with us. You'll feel so wonderful inside now. But when you're awake, every time I say the word sleep or deeper sleep, your head will drop back down to your chest, your eyes will close, and you'll double this feeling that you have right now. Nod your head that you understand. That's 1. So 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. What was that like?
Yeah.
Look at me. And sleep down. Way down. Even deeper. There you go. Way down. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Relax. The deeper you go, the more relaxed you feel now. And 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. It is good, isn't it? Sleep. Way down. Deeper, deeper. That's so wonderful in this feeling you're in now. It's going to feel like you cannot move your feet. It's like your knees are locked, your ankles are locked, your feet are stuck to the floor. It's like your feet are 10 tons. You will not be able to move your feet. The more you try and move those feet, the more those feet just lock and stick to the floor. Nod your head that you understand. So 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. So you were saying. Good? Good. Go ahead now and try and move those feet. Really try. The harder you try, the harder they stick. Really try. Feel those ankles getting heavy. Just as much those toes are heavy. That's right. It's up. It's just about. But notice how that left foot sticks even more than that right foot, and that right foot now sticks just as much as that left foot. The harder you try, the harder it sticks. What's that like now?
It's weird.
It is weird. But weird in a good way? Weird in a good way. If you can say that at all, look at me and sleep down. Way down. Even deeper. Even more relaxed.
Hi there and welcome back. Thanks for staying, and I hope you enjoyed that little bit of street hypnosis. Wasn't she a star? She was a great subject, and you saw how beautifully she dropped into hypnosis in that induction and how she performed that foot stick. And things didn't go exactly as planned. We'll talk through that now. But the key thing is, I mentioned 2 fundamental aspects revolving around hypnosis, and those 2 aspects really are, number 1, trusting that this hypnosis stuff works. You've got to trust in the process, trust in the idea, the hundreds of years that hypnosis has been used, and understanding that it will work. You just sometimes have to really trust in the process because things might not go exactly as you wanted them to go. The second part is in just patience and letting it happen. So let's talk through those 2 points, and I'm going to mention Peter Cooper's discussion about the dropping them back into hypnosis, that fractionation process that you saw within that. So number 1, when I told her her hand was going to come towards her face, I told her when her hand touches her forehead, it'll drop down by a side and her head will drop down to your chest. And as you saw from that video, that didn't exactly happen. The first time her hand touched her forehead, it sort of froze. Now that freezing is what we call a cataleptic response. It's a very good hypnotic phenomenon. So again, even though I'll say the phrase, it didn't go the way I'd planned it to go in terms of what I'd told her, this is a lovely sign. I always talk about this, that they're in control of their response and their experience in hypnosis. I might say, this will happen, then this will happen, and they need to trust me. So there's trust in terms of them trusting me, but I'm trusting in the process that what will happen, and if I'm doing the fundamental aspects of the steps of the induction, it may not end out exactly the way I said it, but it will work. And it did beautifully there. As you can see there, she had a good experience with the foot stick. So that's the proof. The ultimate proof is in the testing, and it worked beautifully. Equally, when I said your hand moves towards your forehead, it took quite a while for her hand to move towards your forehead. You'll watch some videos on my channel and you'll see that as soon as I say your hand comes towards your forehead, it leaps very quickly straight from where I positioned it to touching their forehead in no time at all. Whereas with this lady, the process was quite slow and her hand moved casually, and I had to do some, I'll call filler conversation, just talking her through and saying, that's fine, you're doing great, the hand will only come as quickly as you want it to come. And at any point where she felt worried, she would stop that process herself. She was still in control. She was building up that trust and saying, I've watched other people. This was not the first lady I'd hypnotized, the first person I'd hypnotized in the day. So there are various other people that she'd seen me doing this to, and this is why she came forward and asked for an experience like this here. So she was already had that trust built up before she approached me, but she still had to find that trust and understand that she was happy enough to let the process take its course. And it did with that patience. So don't worry about the timing. People think there's a certain timing, a certain tonation to people's voices. There's a lot of things that people assume are going on that don't really matter. The overall fundamental is have trust that hypnosis works and have patience that it will happen, and just let it unfold as it unfolds. Everyone's different and you're not in control of that. You're in control of the process that you're taking someone through, but the speed at which they take it through and the element of understanding how quickly it's going to happen is out of your hands. So don't panic, don't worry. And hopefully you saw me. I was looking around at times just to make sure people didn't approach us and bump into her while she had her eyes closed. But apart from that, I had to to pace myself until that hand touched her forehead. Equally, like I say, because she got that cataleptic response, which is a good hypnotic phenomenon, I wasn't worried that her hand didn't drop down by its side. And after I fractionated her a few times, now fractionation being the process of saying, come out of this sort of eye closed state, and I hate to say trance because she was in trance for a period of time with her eyes open. So eyes closed doesn't mean you're in trance. You're still in trance even when your eyes are open. You're in that hypnotic state of being even with the eyes open. But I got her to open her eyes, which is sort of bringing her out to that next level state, and then closed her eyes down again. And at times I did it quite sharply, just to say, how's that? What's that like? I would say. And within seconds I go sleep and just put her back into that state. And again, that's a testing process as well to see how responsively she's going back into hypnosis. She did that perfectly, and I moved on to the foot stick. The fractionization process was mentioned in the Dave Ellman book. It was noticed that if someone came in for a hypnotic session in terms of therapeutic work, the practitioner would hypnotize the person and then wake them up again after the hypnosis suggestions were implemented, and then send them away and bring them back the following week. And over a period of time, they realized that the second week and the third week, when they dropped them back into hypnosis, they seemed to go deeper. They seemed to be more responsive in the hypnotic responses in the second week, and in the third week even more so. So Dave Ellman thought, well, why don't we just wake them up and then drop them into the eyes closed state, wake them up and then drop them into that deeper eye closed state several times in a row in the first session. That's the process of fractionization, and in doing so they got to that deeper state that usually would take 2 or 3 sessions, but they were now doing it in just one session, and hence the fractionization process was developed. And it's simply that, just waking them up and dropping them down, waking them up and dropping them down. And the reason I will often just say, what was that like, and then go sleep very quickly, is because I almost want to catch them off guard. Because if someone hasn't fully accepted that hypnotic state, they will not be as responsive to dropping back into hypnosis. So again, it's a good test along the way. Once I've done the deepener and the fractionization, I move on to that first skit, which is the foot stick. And notice how when the camera pans out and I say try and move your feet, she actually moves one foot off the ground. She actually lifts one foot, the right foot. Again, I can see that there's resistance there. As much as she's lifting it, it took a long time to do it. So there was an element of hypnotic phenomenon happening in those legs. So I reinforce the suggestion by saying, notice how the left foot sticks even more than the right foot. As that right foot, the heel of that right foot starts to feel heavy and pulls down to the ground, the left foot sticks even more. And just as the left foot sticks even more, now the right foot sticks as much as the left foot. If you follow that logic, I'm getting them to focus on the foot that's really stuck to the ground, and as they focus on that, I'm transferring the stickiness of the left foot onto the right foot as well to really reinforce that suggestion. And admittedly, as soon as I say what's that like, and that's not an incidental question, it's an important question to probe her experience, and it's a very minimalist what's that like, rather than having, so do you feel your feet are stuck, what's that like? I'm just keeping it short, what's that like? Because I don't know exactly what's going inside her head. Once again, another basic element of hypnosis that people think I'm probing and controlling their mind and getting inside their head. I have no idea what's going on. The only way I can find out is by asking them, what's that like? And when she responds and says, that's weird, I now have an understanding that she has experienced something that's outside of normal. And, well, I've told her that her feet are stuck to the floor, she can't move her feet, and of course that's going to be weird, it's going to be strange, and that's her response. So I know hypnotic phenomenon 100% has been accepted. At that point, we're in a very good state. So that's the two big fundamentals. I've talked about fractionation, which is probably another lesson itself, but the two main fundamentals are trust that this stuff works. It's been working for hundreds of years. I know the process, you've seen the process in action, trust that this will work, and just have patience. Have patience in terms of every single individual, in terms of allowing their hand to move towards the forehead or whatever induction you're using. Whatever you do, have patience in the process and let it unfold. And number two, have patience, because for some people, if they don't have the trust in you, and if you don't trust in your own process, it ain't going to work. So you've got to build up that trust within yourself just as much as they have to trust you to give them an experience. So sometimes it won't work, not because hypnosis doesn't work on everyone. Hypnosis works on everyone, but they've got to have that trust, and you've got to have that trust in the process that it will work, and you've got to have that patience. If you don't have those two things, you need to practice that now. So I hope you like this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget to click the big subscribe button and that bell notification button right next to the subscribe button so you get notified when there's new videos coming out from myself. And thanks very much to Peter Cooper for his comment. Maybe I'll be name dropping you in my next video. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think, or if you see something that you're not sure about, maybe you've learnt it and forgot it from other people, ask the question in the comment section below, and I might just make a video with you as the special commenter of the week. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for the comments, thanks for the subscribes, thanks for the likes. I'm going to leave you. I talked in this video about things not going as planned, things failing, and inductions not working at all. And sometimes, even for me, after all my years of experience, sometimes an induction doesn't work. So watch this video coming up next. It's a lovely video, a lovely example where an induction just didn't work. And I'm going to break down in that tutorial exactly why it didn't work. So I think you're going to find that useful as well. So make sure you watch that one. And until next week, have a good week.